yesterday we got news drop. Terence got stripped. No longer the undisputed champion of the world.
My dad, that wasn't yesterday. That was Thursday night because my dad was over at my house.
He was on it.
Yeah, we was talking about it. He's like, he said the only thing I could think is they're trying to force a fight.
Yeah, I'm like, is that what it comes down to? Because you got to look.
My dad said it, so.
The Charlo was 154 Charlo.
Yeah.
He hasn't defended his belt in over a year. Terence.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Don't mix them up.
Well, yeah, but Jamal hasn't defended his in over.
Yeah, but we got to keep it IBF. That's why I did that.
Gotcha.
But you got to say, the Spence Crawford fight wasn't for the IBF? He just defended it a couple of months ago.
There's no excuse.
The rematch in a couple of months is not for the
truly no excuse.
I don't understand boxing sometimes, man. And I think we all get frustrated at times with the belt system.
We deal
with it.
100%.
We know about the immediate rematch clause being in effect. We know that Errol activated his rematch clause
right away
and shut down everything.
I feel like if there was a conversation that we didn't know about, that Terence knew about, he would have come out and said what was going on. He hasn't said anything.
I don't know enough about it, just like you guys. I'm reading what I read, but I don't understand why the IBF wouldn't want to be associated with the undisputed rematch. Yeah. Why they feel they get a little bit more power or clout or notoriety by stripping him of that belt so that their argument is, well, he didn't face the IBF mandatory. The IBF mandatory takes a back seat when you're talking about an undisputed rematch.
Yeah.
That clause, like you said, Errol called it right away. He said, I want the rematch.
How is it man who comes from Broadway understands this and knows this?
I don't understand the rationale of a governing body wanting to pull themselves out of what boxing lives for. An undisputed title holder in any division, I don't care what division it is, when you hold all the belts, why would the governing body say, well, you're not facing our mandatory, so we're stripping you of the belt? That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. IBF looks, in my opinion, foolish by doing it, and it weakens, to your point, and frustrates the shit out of everybody in the sport because you're like, listen, IBF, WBO, WBC, ring, I don't care. Yeah. When they're all right there, everybody's tuning in to watch that. Am I going to go watch a mandatory when there's a gentleman sitting here who deserved all of those belts, who earned all of those belts and won all of those belts, and then his competitor who lost says, hey, I want the rematch? What's more important to the IBF? Yeah. Having it go on its own over here or sticking with this group and traveling this undisputed path? I don't get it.
Makes absolutely no sense. Logical, unlogical, business, whatever you want it makes no sense. And shout out to Boots, great fighter. I mean, he got handed the title, and no disrespect to him because he was set up to be, he's one of the ones. He's going to be great down the line, but I would understand this more after the rematch. And then let's say Terence wins and now he beat him twice, forcing him, putting the pressure on him. But right now, no. It's like some people call him paper champion. It is. Go ahead.
No. But here's where my brain went, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's just say the stripping didn't happen, and he retains all the belts. He's undisputed, and he does the rematch, and he wins again. In my mind, what I see happening next is all of the mandatories in all of those governing bodies get their opportunity at the undisputed champion. So it's actually a benefit to wait, because if I'm the IBF mandatory, I should get a shot at him and all of the belts.
Yeah.
And whoever the mandatory is with IBF, WBO, WBC, ring, you're now in a position to get them all. So to me, that's how I envisioned it going, where Bud then would face, after he does the rematch, he would face 4 mandatories in a row, 2 a year, however you want to place him out. But as the mandatory competitor, opponent, I'm looking at that going, don't strip him. Let him keep it, because then I'm going to fight him down the road for all of them. I want my shot at all 4.
I always try to be careful with what I say.
Don't be.
But I have to say this.
Space. Let's go.
He gonna give it. None of the sanctioning bodies like for their belts to sit still. They always want their belts being displayed in the ring. when you don't see a world championship title in the ring, what do you see in the ring? An interim title. Yeah. You always see
everybody has
something.
You always see something in the ring. When you see something in the ring, that means money's moving. Mm-hmm. If one man has all the belts, the way all you fans and boxing people love to see it, where we have one undisputed, where we finally know who the guy actually is, guess what? When that one guy has 4 belts, one of those belts or 3 of those belts always have to sit still. Because if Terence is to get in the ring with Boots, and Boots is the IBF mandatory, he's not the IBF, WBC, WBA, WBO, whatever. Yeah. He's not the mandatory for all, so he's only.
So I just learned something today. I would assume that if the IBF mandatory beats Bud and Bud has all the belts, he gets them all. He doesn't get them all if he beats them?
My man can leave the WBA, WBO, and the WBC at home.
I just learned that too.
And he can show up to the fight with the IBF because he's the mandatory for the IBF. He's not the mandatory to fight undisputed. He's mandatory. He's mandatory to fight Terence Crawford, who holds the IBF. He's not mandatory.
See, I think it's more exciting if that IBF mandatory gets the shot at all the belts.
So in this case, all of the belts were with Spence, or except for Bud. One, of course. And then now all of them are with one guy.
Yeah.
And now we see why why we don't see undisputed very often, because once one guy has them all, they're all sitting still.
Right.
And unless you, of course, are a worthy challenger.
Yeah, or to my point, you make those 4 mandatories and all of them his next 4 opponents. Yeah. And then the next which makes sense to me. Which makes
all the sense in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, didn't Charlo get stripped when he got in the ring with by the IBF?
I was told I heard he did.
Got stripped too. Now that I think about it, yep, he got stripped too when he got in the ring with Canelo.
But look at Devin Haney going up to 140 to fight Regis Prograis. Mm-hmm. He's undisputed at 135, and they haven't just taken the belts from him at 135 yet. He ain't coming back down to 135. What y'all waiting on?
Nothing.
Somebody's waiting to pull the trigger because don't nobody want to look stupid.
Why they didn't? It was different organizations, Shawn, because you was never given the WBC. You didn't fight the champion because he was stripped or whatever. But you had to fight 2 guys to get the belt. Yeah. And I fought fights.
Mark, I don't even know if you know this, but I fought one fight for interim WBC title, which made me the mandatory for the WBC championship title, which was being held by Keith Thurman. That was against no. That was against he's on Adrian Granados. Okay. Then we plan to sit still until Keith is ready. Then we're told that Keith ain't ready yet. Do you guys want to get back in the ring? Cool. If you guys want to get back in the ring, you have to fight for another interim title, just so that belt is being shown, and just so that some money is.
Everybody's getting paid. Everybody's got to get paid.
I
understand that. I just think from a sports standpoint, from an exciting standpoint, I just don't get the stripping. I just don't get it.
Yeah.